Hello, everybody. Welcome to Death Battle Live.
We made it.
Finally.
It's an awesome week. Star Wars is coming out.
Yes.
Smash Direct just happened. Independence Day 2 trailer happening. Captain Kirk riding dirt bikes off jumps in Star Trek Beyond.
Okay.
Not so much. That's crap. Anyways, thank you guys so much for your patience. I'm Sean Boland. If you don't know who I am, I'm the community manager here at ScrewAttack. I get to read your Death Battle requests every day, and I'm excited to be the host of Death Battle Live. And next to me, I have Ben Singer, voice of Wiz, and Chad.
Oh, fine.
How you
Fine.
guys?
No,
Hey.
no, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I play the other one.
Yeah,
The other one.
Yeah.
that
That other guy.
We had some nice popsicle jokes for the delay. Again, we pushed it to the limit.
I missed out on all these popsicle jokes.
I know. You
Yeah,
totally
did you?
Wait.
Did you?
Can I hear one,
Okay, I'll give you one.
please?
A screwdriver. That was the last one.
That's-
That's all it said.
Okay.
That's all. That's all.
Sure.
All right, we want to invite you guys to interact with us with hashtag Death Battle Live on Twitter. We're gonna pull some
Oh,
questions.
there too.
Oh wow, look, a lower third. We're gonna pull questions from that. I've already got some in my piggy bank that I'm gonna save. I've got some good ones, so thanks for that, guys.
But keep asking, because we'll definitely be pulling more.
Yes, without a doubt. And man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah,
And then, of course-
vote for who you think is gonna win in the hype meter below. It is ridiculously close right now. Who is going to win tonight's death battle? Digimon has 2,300.
50% and 50%.
Yeah, Digimon
Really?
has
Wow.
2,398. Pokemon is down by whatever that math is. 20
You can do it for yourself.
28. Oh.
Approximately 0.02%.
I gotta
votes.
lay down. I gotta lay
hilarious.
down. That is brutal.
Yeah, and of course, guys, we will be premiering the episode on
Yes.
tonight's show.
Oh yeah. Thanks for that.
That'll be
No problem.
happening.
I
You
got you,
will
buddy.
see a death battle. Wish me luck. I'm gonna try to do my best to make it through this thing. So
What's
how
up?
long has this been hyped up?
How have we
Pokemon
been
versus
working
Digimon?
on
Is this
Pokemon
was
versus
it-
Digimon?
Yeah, like
Well, I think we've always planned on doing Pokemon versus Digimon in some way. It really came down to how and what we chose to do, because there have been a couple different ideas and suggestions for it. Like, do you just do Charizard versus Greymon, or do you bring evolution into the mix, or
Right.
Yeah.
do you do other Digimon? Are the trainers involved? There's a lot of different.
Do we
things
do
that people are
every
requesting.
Pokemon
Yeah.
ever
Yeah,
versus
that was another thing.
every Digimon?
I was asking Torian after the last fight. I was like, man, what are you animating next? Because I'm Torian's #1 fan. I love Torian more than anybody. He's the hardest worker I know.
We all love Torian.
But I was like, what are you working on next? He was like, Pokemon versus Digimon. I was like, no, you'll never leave. What are you gonna do?
Yes, all 800, what is it,
Yes.
780 something Pokemon
Too
versus
many.
all, I think there's like 1,200 Digimon. It's ridiculous.
Could you imagine the chaos and all of the adorable little bodies streaming everywhere?
I just remember as the
God.
simplest fight, a simpler fight of Eggman versus Dr. Wily, and you
that-
animating that, and Ben just being like, I'm such a moron for doing
Oh,
this.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, this was
Army
how
fights.
come into the office, go to check on Ben. I walk in, and this is all I see.
Yeah.
That was
brutal.
Eggman versus Dr.
Completely
Wily.
passed out on his computer, arm all the way out, with your still holding the
You'll
mouse.
notice that was the last episode I ever animated. There's a reason
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, totally.
I was done.
So yeah, let's what is the decision-making process and who the marquee warriors are?
For how we decided on this?
Yeah, what is it about these two that makes it the
We've
Well-
seen
way to
it
go?
suggested a couple times, and then also it comes down to a lot of us being like, we think this would make a lot of sense, and we think it would be really cool.
Charizard versus Greymon has been requested a lot.
Right.
So has Lucario versus Renamon. There's actually a 1 minute melee on that one.
Yes.
So we were looking at Charizard versus Greymon, and we were like, okay, how do we take this? Do we include like the Digievolution? And then, like I guess a year ago or so, the new Pokemon Origins anime came out that has Charizard turn Mega and basically beat up a bunch of really powerful Pokemon. And suddenly, I'm like, hang on. Pokemon is like Digimon now. They
Yeah,
can
yeah.
just Digivolve / Mega Evolve.
Yeah, Mega Ball,
Yeah.
whatever. But,
So it
That
kind of
even
like
the playing field to
even
make
the
it a
playing field
legitimate
and
match.
made it more like of an interesting match to me.
Yeah.
Like, what does Mega Evolution do that changes
Mm-hmm.
what everybody thought Pokemon versus Digimon might actually be?
and while we've had some Pokemon in Death Battle before, we haven't got to use the trainers
Yes.
before, so we
So-
got to do a trainer, and we got to bring in
Yeah.
It's just they're great compliments to each other. You know, it's all about the bond between the characters and their monster.
Yes.
And also they're giant fire-breathing lizards.
which is cool.
No, it's pretty. Of course, it's cool.
And why'd you choose this one? Because they're giant fire-breathing lizards.
The end.
That's why.
Was there any hesitation in including the trainers and just like letting like them fight? Like,
Well-
just let them free reign on each other. Like,
If they do, you don't even know. You
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
it yet.
I have not seen.
What,
I have
have
not
the
seen the
trainers
fight
fight each other?
yet. No. As in like just Greymon and Charizard without any.
Oh, we just thought it'd be a much more interesting dynamic, and it helps also like focus in on like that way we can look at Red's Charizard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, the reason why this episode is called Pokemon versus Digimon rather than Red and Charizard versus Ty and Greymon. For one, that's a really long title, and we tried to simplify it.
Yeah, totally.
But mostly because this episode is also about like the core concepts of what Pokemon and Digimon are about, and it really comes down to the bond and relationship between monster and trainer or tamer in Digimon's case.
It's almost whose trainer monster relationship is the strongest.
To an extent, yeah,
Yeah,
like
but that
what
doesn't
they can
determine the
accomplish
fight.
with that relationship.
I got you.
This isn't friend battle.
No, it
It's
is.
time, yeah.
I
We
saw-
analyze
I
their
saw-
weapons,
what?
armor, and skills to find out who is a better friend.
I saw.
We've put them in a bunch of scenarios, tasked with seeing when they'll bail.
This is about which BFFs will kill
Will
the
they
other
go
BFFs.
the extra mile and help their friend at the cost of something to them? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Somebody tweet at hashtag Death Battle Live if you want to interact with the show. I did see somebody ask the question, why so many deaths?
Well, if you look at the very first word in
Did
the
you
show,
read the title of the show?
Yeah.
and that, yeah, I mean, when the show was started, it was very much like Ben found like all these things that existed on the internet of these just debates between people,
Yeah.
like on Comic Vine and things like that, and it was like there needs to be a show that settles this, that does
Yeah,
this.
well,
and,
there
like,
were several Versus shows. I think the most popular at the time was Machinima's Versus. It was literally just called Versus. But it was just two guys on a camera talking about two characters, and they're like, who do you think would win? You can talk about it in the comments. And I'm sitting here watching it being like, bullshit! I thought you guys were going to make a
You
decision!
tell me who wins.
No,
I
you're
want to know, and people always do. And
Born from the soul of an angry fanboy.
yeah, and then there's a lot of when we kind of came up with Death Battle and we were like setting the rules like of everything. We have like our kind of unofficial rules,
yeah.
but it was because if you've ever gotten like into the Versus forums and stuff like that, oh man, there's a bunch of stuff. There can be stuff like okay, in this planet, no killing, like there's all these different rules and scenarios that can be set, with prep time, no with prep time. So
The Versus community, it's what they call themselves, I guess. They really like creating different scenarios and different like rule sets that can go about each match differently.
Yeah.
For Death Battle,
You want it to be standardized.
well, I
we
mean,
kind of simplify everything to just be like, okay, we want it to be about this character versus this character. What makes sense in that context? If we add something, if we add like a trainer or like an assistant or this kind of weapon, does that take away from the fact that it's this character and this character? Like, for example, if we're including Red and Charizard together because they go together, but like if Blue suddenly showed up, like Red's rival, and started helping out Charizard, well then it would no longer be the Charizard we know.
Exactly.
Because it would be like implementing a weird element. So stuff like that we take out. But really, what it comes down to with the rules is just like one of them's got to die.
yeah, and that's what
The
I'm saying.
end.
That's the first rule. Is pretty much just like we chose that the morals are gone. This was the purpose of the show, is to determine which would win in a fight.
Yeah.
So not just to like, you knocked me down. It's like it's got to be all the way.
Exactly.
Like it's got to be all the way. They've got to be able to kill.
So
it.
Or
So
as
that's
far
why.
as possible.
Yeah.
There is one character in Death Battle who didn't actually technically die. We don't know what happened to him. His name is Starscream. He might be still being
might
digested.
still be alive in Equestria, possibly. I don't even know if their electronics. Maybe they got like a coffee maker. Maybe
I don't
Pinkie
know.
Pie's-
I still don't know what happened.
Maybe
to-
he's in Pinkie Pie's canon.
I still
Think
don't know
about
what happened
that.
to Chuck
Who knows?
Norris and Segata. I don't know what happened.
I guess
to
they
them.
didn't.
They didn't
necessarily die
technically.
either.
They're
We
still
don't actually
going,
know what
man.
happened to them.
They're still going.
So I always get really interested, like just hearing you guys talk about Death Battle. Like, what was the research load like for this particular fight? Was it heavier than most or pretty light? Like,
This one is a bit more straightforward
Yeah, it's not too
than
horrible.
other Death Battle. I mean, there's still a lot to go through because all these characters, Red Tai and Red are both inspired by manga characters. So taking like we aren't technically using manga Red or manga Taichi because they are very different from the Tai and the Red that we know from the animes and from the games. But we still I still looked at that stuff to make sure like you know what to know where these characters came from. And to understand
I was under the
what that
impression
was.
you just took a Digimon card and a Pokemon card and you put them together and then you wrote down on a napkin.
We actually,
Which one was more
we actually
powerful?
tried to combine the card games and play this weird hybrid.
We played a game, and then halfway through it, there was just a mess. So
And
sorry,
then we're like,
no
that one's face up, so that's the winner, because that's totally how it goes.
That's clearly how we decide.
not
Death Battle
a bunch
winners.
of soul crushing research. And
No, but these characters, it's always fun doing characters that have like set like move sets and stuff like in a game, and it's like, okay, we just play the game, we see what they can do, and then you just watch the anime, and then we're done. You know, rather than, hey, by the way, after you're done watching 50 movies and 20 TV shows, there's also
300 mangas. There's
50 years of comics to go through. I'm like, oh god.
Comics are
Comics
are brutal.
I think the best part about iconic character moves is the iconic character moves, especially in stuff like Scorpion versus Ryu. Like those are big marquee moments in the fights that are just like totally fun to watch.
Well, then there's also sometimes we get like characters from like fighting games, for example, which we think, oh, these will be like easier to research because they don't have giant like world-spanning, decade-spanning stories.
Thanks, Guilty Gear.
Sometimes we don't quite get what we're asking for, and we get Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, which have ridiculous stories that we take forever trying to figure
I
out.
still feel so bad for Nick. Like,
Thankfully, Pokemon and Digimon, we already know like enough about that we know what we're getting into. So it was a more fun experience, I guess, making this episode.
Yeah, and that's always a big help for because we'll do whatever. As long as we think it's gonna be a cool fight, and we look at the suggestions.
I see you guys working.
Yeah, and but it's always really nice when it's something that we know we're gonna do a fight where it's like we know
we have
something,
experience.
Like
with
if
it.
we know something about both characters right in the gate, like if we have a lot of experience with them, it's awesome. And even if it's just one, that's a tremendous help because it helps.
That's why a lot of the characters in the first 13 episodes, when it was bi-weekly and it was just me doing pretty much everything.
Yeah.
A lot of them are characters that I grew up with, and I just knew everything about already, or at least very much about, and I had to just go do the extra research. Like
You're ruining your own childhood instead of everyone else's.
to an extent, poor Donatello. But then after, we extended the deadlines and brought in more people, then it was like, okay, we finally have the manpower and the time to do some characters that we've never actually, looked into before and stuff. Like I had never read a Berserk manga.
But see,
And then we were able to
I'm
get
very
Guts.
familiar with Berserk.
And you were pushing Guts from the very beginning, back when it was the bi-weekly
I just
thing.
wanted him in Death Battle
Yeah.
because he's perfect for Death
Yeah,
Battle.
I don't even know if we had a matchup for him yet, but I remember you coming to me and being like, hey, we should put this guy in. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I was
don't
like-
know anything about him. How am I supposed to do anything
And I was
in 2
just
weeks?
like, I was like, I don't
okay.
know. We need to find somebody that would be good for him to fight. Win or lose, he's perfect for Death Battle because it's just what he does. He fights, he kills, and he has a huge sword. That's what it was. Because I want to have this epic, huge sword fight. And then we came up with Nightmare. And then, luckily, I don't want to spoil the ending, but
Was this fight a hard decision?
This one?
why don't we save that for after?
There were some
I don't want to say
surprises.
either way because
I'm going to say...
I mean, it's a hard decision in the poll right now. Oh my
Oh,
gosh!
that's why.
24 votes away. Pokemon
good job, you man.
is back in the
This is
lead.
awesome. They were like perfectly 50-50.
I've never seen.
Either that or it's just the neutral. It's the
I'm just
neutral
gonna
race
say-
from Futurama, and they're just.
I'm just going to say I don't think most people, when they think of this matchup, really... They're not going to expect what actually happens.
Okay, awesome.
What's great is now everyone just made their own assumption in their own mind about what that meant.
Oh, see, that's
Yeah,
exactly what I was
including
looking
myself.
Yeah.
So we got a few minutes. We're gonna do our first round of questions from you guys. You can submit questions via Death Battle Live or hashtag Death Battle Live on Twitter, and I'm pulling from that as we speak.
And,
And
also,
then very soon we'll be premiering the episode.
just a heads up, we'll be premiering the episode in, I guess, 12 minutes.
Yes, in 12 minutes. Set your alarm clocks.
Some guy's just like, okay, good. Now I don't have to look at your stupid face.
I'm gonna go take a nap. All right.
Don't leave.
All right. At Cobalt Caliber says, Tonight is gonna rock either way of the outcome.
I like your
Thank
attitude.
you. I like your attitude. Too.
Dot dot dot.
you.
Maybe. Sad
Oh.
face.
Okay, wonderful delivery, Sean. You walked us right into that one.
Well, I hope your attitude is the one that we like.
I hope the one that you're rooting for wins.
yeah.
Since the show is kind of already late, I kind of want to ask questions that are gonna get under the audience's skin to build the hype even more.
No.
No,
Don't
no.
be that guy.
No, it's not in a bad way. We know one of the monsters is dying, but is the trainer dying too?
We'll have to see.
You can't answer that.
We're not,
Why
we're
not?
not spoiling
I'm
that.
not gonna spoil anything.
Yeah, whether we
Do the
or
trainers
don't.
get into a knife fight on the edge of a cliff?
Well, does Red or
Who
Ty
knows
carry
what
a knife?
can happen?
Does Red fall over the side and like Ty's
How
standing
about we
over him?
move on to the
and
next
Ty's
question?
like on the cliff and Ty's like, go to hell. And Red's like, you first! And he pulls him down.
Chad.
Sean's clearly
Chad,
thought of this
I
before.
think Sean wants to write a death battle.
I think he does too.
If we ever do a death battle, I am writing it. I will. It is mine. Anyways, more from Twitter.
That's not.
He's so
let's keep
clearly
him away
like
from the
he
death
wants to do
battle
this
crew, okay?
cliffhanger knife fight. Like,
Knife fighting.
they will do
knife fighting.
Stallone versus Schwarzenegger in all of their movies together as one, and you can write it.
Oh,
Perfect.
You hear that? I think I literally heard his dick hit the table. Like, yeah, just thump.
oh man. Okay, Max, the one llama at the at the one llama asks, "Are you ever gonna make Torian take a break?"
We
Okay.
have.
It's really, really hard to get him to stop
Make
working.
him, not let him.
I might have to.
Make him.
No. After what was it? Yang versus Tifa.
Torian is our 3D
yeah,
animator.
you-
I
by the
made
way.
him
Not to
take
come in.
I made him take a multi-day like break and like leave the office and not come in. I literally didn't have anything for him to work with for the next one,
Yeah.
specifically because I wanted
You just
him
told
to take a
go
break.
away.
Yeah, so
He just put so much
I had-
work into so many sleepless nights into Yang
I
versus
know.
Tifa.
yeah, I had a little get together at my house. Well, I don't know, for like a month ago, something like that. And I was like, "Hey, Torian, you want to come? Come hang out." Like, I did this like also like when he first got here to be like, come be a part of the crew and everything. Like, come meet people and hang out. And he's just like, "Oh, that sounds cool." Got all this animation I gotta do. You know, I'm just like, dude, stop, please.
I remember at lunch the first day, I was like, Torian, man, you haven't left the office since you came in, and he basically just said, I'm the best. Go to hell. In a nutshell, that's what Torian said to me when I said he works a little bit too hard.
It's ridiculous. It's super humble. Torian's an incredibly hard worker, and yes, one of the reasons that this is a season finale is so we can get ahead. We're gonna talk about this. A little bit later.
We'll talk about that
But
post fight.
Part of that is so that. Part of that is to get so Torian can sleep, and it's so hard because I know he's still gonna try and work even harder, and like he's gonna be like, I got more time, I can do crazier stuff if I still work all night and all weekends, you know. So our goal is to try and get Torian to actually take a break.
Yes.
You guys can tweet at
Torian,
him.
you're the
Tweet
man.
support. Torian is the man.
Torian,
He'll be on after.
He'll be on in the post. He's
yeah,
sitting
after
over
the
there.
episode to talk about the animation.
All right. Cass the Rider at Fandom Enforcer. I thought this was a really good question. This is the first one I saved. Hey guys,
Yes.
love your show.
Thanks.
you.
Love you too.
Now my question: would you rather be a Pokemon or Digimon trainer?
Man, I thought you were gonna say, would you rather be a Pokemon or a Digimon? And screw that, I'm gonna answer that first. I would much rather be a Digimon, because I don't have to get jammed into a tiny little ball all the time.
But only for that
well,
reason.
And I can talk.
And you can talk.
And I can talk.
Digimon are eternally bound to one kid, and sometimes that
kid
kid,
can be a
doesn't
little
turn out to be
asshole.
such a good kid. He
That's
could
true.
turn out to be a kid who gets possessed by an evil force and become the Dark Emperor and like literally beat the shit out of you every day.
Yeah, but you
this
could-
happens in season 2. There's a little worm guy, Wormmon. His master just whips him every day. It could
Sucks
be
for
you.
old Wormy.
It
I
could
am
be you.
sad, but-
And then he dies.
Dude.
Spoilers.
Come
then
on,
he
man.
dies.
You bring this down.
God,
I mean,
God almighty.
But then again,
Yeah,
Pokemon
but you
are
could-
forced
but
to
you could
fight
be
all the
Team
time.
Rockets, and you have to fight all the time.
Hey, Team Rocket actually takes pretty good care of their Pokemon.
Only because Meowth can talk. There are other ones? I don't know.
The other
Whatever.
ones love them.
Yeah, I guess. The coughing.
Okay, answer
All right.
my question.
Oh,
what would
fine.
you rather train?
A trainer or a
Yeah.
tamer?
So, I would absolutely rather be a Pokemon trainer, and that is just because I grew up playing Pokemon, and like, I always thought it was the coolest thing. I remember, you guys remember when Burger King Burger King made the toys and they're like, we've got Pokeballs, and I was like, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, and there was
You
this
couldn't
big
get them
deal.
anywhere else.
You could go. I know you couldn't get them anywhere else. It was the first like toy Pokeball. And I remember we all had them clipped to our belts at school. and
Into
we
your
were, like, throwing
backpacks?
them at people. Yeah, in backpacks. That was really
Did
cool.
they have plushes inside of them?
No, I actually think they had a little hard Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
if I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I would agree for all the same reasons. Also, Pokemon Trainer it's an adventure to collect Pokemon, so you can go find the Pokemon you want, and then you can, have an adventure with the Pokemon that you want to have.
And you get way more.
You can get a ton of them.
Yeah.
A Digimon Tamer.
It's an eternal obligation.
If you're a tamer, not always, but
Yeah.
you don't necessarily get to choose your Digimon. It just kind of happens. You find them, and they're like, "You're Digidestined. Now you have to save the universe. No pressure." And then you got to do that.
I've bonded you. What? No, this is too fast. So, yeah, there you go.
So the route with less responsibility. That's what I'm taking.
Wonderful.
Okay, and let's get one more question in before we stall. Slyron2000 asks, Slyron,
Yeah.
do you ever employ freelance animators / 3D modelers for death battles?
Yes.
All the time.
All the time.
Where can they contact us for that and only that?
You email me.
Yep.
Email Ben at ScrewAttack.com. There's a little contact us page on the ScrewAttack website. If you go to it, and you'll see a thing that says Death Battle Opportunities. Email this. And then you'll see another thing that says, don't email that if you have a suggestion. Email this instead. Just don't send your suggestions to that same email because it's just going to clog it up, and we're not going to pay attention to them.
And it's
we have an
also
email
Ben's
for it.
literal living nightmare.
Yeah, it just gets clogged up, and it's a nightmare. But we do have an email for that if you have suggestions.
We've got almost 1,700 tweets for hashtag Death Battle Live.
Awesome.
It's
Wow,
a
that's
trend.
awesome.
Thank you guys so
Oh,
much.
really? Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how big of a trend that is, but it's pretty damn
Worldwide.
awesome.
It shows-
Worldwide.
it shows
Universally.
Yeah.
Universal trend.
But you can interact with us with hashtag Death Battle Live for your questions, comments, if you want. And you can see we got a feed going on right there. My hair looks red. I look like Austin. Okay. All right. Nico Suave Rigoli.
Yeah.
At
Mr. Rigoli.
at Nico Suave Rigoli. What's the silliest battle request you guys have ever gotten?
Man, these big blanket questions take forever. We have a lot of silly requests. I think ours sometimes are the silliest.
Nick
We
is insistent that we need to do a death battle between Hermione Granger and the Juggernaut.
I want to see that one.
That's true.
I was watching Half-Blood Prince the other night, and that's all I could think about.
Oh, I can tell you. And,
What's Hermione Granger versus the
Yeah.
Juggernaut?
Versus
Yeah,
Juggernaut?
I was like, man, they really need to listen to Nick.
Well, see, so there's that. I have pitched I've told people this at panels, but my goofy death battle that I always wanted to see is Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Kool-Aid Man.
Yep,
And then
dangerously
Who
close
knows?
to doing that
Maybe
one.
we'll see
dangerously
it in season
close.
3.
yeah, maybe the one I do want to touch. Here's one. The silliest suggestion, but we love it and we will do it because we let Akon choose over a year ago. They're like, you got to choose a death battle, and we will very much do it. But they chose McGruff the Crime Dog versus Smokey the Bear.
That's in the
And
works.
that is in the works.
can
We're
tell you
trying. The thing about that is we wanted to really we feel like that has to be flash animated.
Yeah,
actual,
or hand-drawn or something,
so.
Yeah,
we've been
we have a
trying to get that.
we have this specific style that we picture it being. So we want to make sure we get it perfect.
Yep.
So we've been taking our time on it.
That it was really close because that was also between that at Akon and Ditto versus Kirby.
Well, that one we almost did.
We almost did that.
We were doing it, and then we realized that it was the most ridiculous curb
Yeah.
stomp in the
Kirby
history of
is a
forever.
monster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
somebody
we
made a
changed it.
mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we changed it to a death battle matchup, which previously I thought it was just a joke.
Yeah.
Surprise! Joke's on us.
Yeah.
Okay, we're 2 minutes out.
Okay.
We're gonna stop all the questions.
Really?
Brian, bring up that poll. We are about to go live with this fight, and we are 3 votes ahead.
Oh my
God.
4 votes
4
ahead. Digimon over Pokemon.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I've never seen it.
Man,
I don't know if we've ever had a matchup where it was such a close split. Well, literally a half and half split.
Yeah.
You know, I've been seeing more than anything. Everyone is saying, this is my childhood. I don't care who wins or loses. I just can't wait to see this happen.
Awesome.
I mean,
We're
that's
excited.
great.
So-
I like that attitude. That's Fun by
So
me.
you guys want to go and get into it? It's 8:59.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
So right before we go, we do this every time. I need everybody in the chat and all the stuff. We're gonna go on 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna say it's time for a death battle in boomstick voice, and then we're gonna get going. So I want to see it. Everybody, use the hashtag death battle live. Ready? 3, 2, 1. It's time for a death battle. Do it, Brian.